Are you finally tired of playing against Zarya and her busted kit at this moment? Are you feeling like no matter what you do, you just can't win? If so, in this video we'll go over what you can start doing now to win more games against this Russian overpowered powerlifter. First of all, to counter Zarya, you fully need to understand how her kit works. As a primary fire, she has a beam that deals between 85 and 170 per second. The range on the beam is about 15 meters with an area of effect of 0.15 meters. Additionally, it doesn't have any multiplier for headshots, so she can absolutely beam you down with body shots. It's also important to note that this ability goes through Genji deflect and Diva defense metrics. So if you play these two heroes, know that Zarya counters you already. As a secondary fire, her big ass cannon works as a projectile. The damage ranges between 47 and 95. The projectile looks like a big round bubble of energy that explodes on impact. Bonus point, it also boops annoying heroes out of the map. Her particle barrier has a duration of 2.5 seconds and a cooldown of 10 seconds. Also, she gains 200 health. What you need to know is that when she absorbs damage while this shield is active, she gains energy. Energy is basically what she uses to amplify her damage, hence the massive range of damage I talked about earlier. Zarya gains 0.2% energy per damage blocked. While the shield is active, Zarya is also immune to crowd control, so she won't get knocked back by projectiles like Pharah's blasts, but she will get knocked back by Winston ultimate as it counts as a melee attack. Her projected barrier has the same duration and cooldown as her particle barrier. She can surround one of her teammates with the shield. When she applies it to a teammate, it prevents them from being hacked, slept, or stunned, while also absorbing incoming damage. Also, the barrier acts as a debuff that removes frozen target. What you need to know is that when you damage her teammate while the shield is up, Zarya also gains energy from it. Now, imagine if Zarya has a shield on herself and on a teammate. You're attacking their shielded DPS and your tank is also attacking Zarya. She's getting double the energy and most likely one-shotting everyone around her. Last, but probably the most annoying of her abilities is her graviton surge. Good news is that it doesn't deal that much damage, about 5 per second and up to 17.5, and it lasts for 3.5 seconds, so you won't die from the ability itself. However, it pulls enemy to it, which gives her teammates all the time in the world to combine their ults and wipe you out. It also disables movement abilities, with few exceptions that we'll cover later. Enemies in the graviton surge aren't disabled, so they can use their abilities like Ryan's shield or even Soldier's visor. Now that you know how her kit works, you need to understand the strategy behind Zarya's playstyle. In terms of health, Zarya is the weakest tank. She has 250 health and a 225 shield. She also doesn't have any movement abilities. Basically, she relies heavily on her particle and projected barrier to boost her damage. Zarya players need to manage these two exceptionally well since they don't have any ways to back off dangerous situation. Their positioning is key here. She is vulnerable when she's out of position and when her shields are down. Keep that in mind. The way you want to counter Zarya is to play highly mobile heroes and to play around her shields. As a DPS player, you can play Reaper. You can easily attack her, and when you see that she has her shield on, you can back off using Wraith form. The same applies if you flank, which you're supposed to do with Reaper anyway. Back off with this ability if Zarya sends her projectile barrier on your target. You don't have to use any abilities for the matter, but at least try to find cover for the 2.5 seconds that it lasts. When the barrier is down, you can go back in and kill whoever you flank. You basically need to play in and out. Anything with high mobility would do the trick. If you're better on Tracer, you can also flank and use recall to go back. The shield should be down by then and then blink back to the target. The key point here is to stall the shield duration. Although I still recommend Reaper as he can stall and destroy Zarya if he's up close. Playing around her shields is also saving your team. Don't forget that Zarya gains energy when you attack a shielded teammate of hers. If she's gaining energy from you, and from the shield she has on herself, she's wiping out your team while you're flanking. As a tank player, I would not recommend playing Diva. Zarya completely counters your defense metrics. Although Diva blocks Zarya's ultimate with defense metrics, it's overall a bad matchup. Your choices here are limited. The best option is to play Winston and to focus on disrupting Zarya's support. As I said earlier, she relies heavily on absorbing damage, so if you ignore her and kill her supports, you'll be in a better position. The key point here is not the Winston pick itself. You can play any tank, but you have to ignore Zarya. If you're more comfortable doing so with Roadhog, you can try it and judge for yourself. However, I feel like Winston's kit is perfect. It's literally made for jumping away from Zarya and to go for the healers or carry. Bonus point here is that Winston's ultimate is about the only ability that can knock back Zarya with a shield on. All in all, the best way to play against Zarya is to actually not play against her. Feels weird, I know. Ignore her, stall her particle barrier and her projectile barrier, kill everyone around her, and then you're left with the 1v5. Easier said than done, but think about it. If you manage to get a pick or two while ignoring her, you're still left with a 3v5. If you don't care and you think you're a better Zarya than the opponent, you can also just mirror her. Now go out there and try these tips for yourself.